Hello everyone, I'm Elizabeth Shaw and this channel is all about the narcissistic personality disorder to give you more understanding of what you might have been through within your life, who you might be dealing with in your life and how to recover from narcissistic abuse. This video is about how the relationship with a narcissist is all just one big illusion. Some people say that being in a relationship with a narcissist is just one big illusion, which yes, it is, and no, it is not. We lived that actual life. We lived those days. We live those actual moments. To us, we are with them. We lived that experience, and our minds hold those memories that are often connected to our emotions. Why recovery can be so triggering, as we connected our emotions to our memories. Then something happens that reminds us of our past, and it can hit our emotions hard, which is why sometimes it can work well to give our past different meanings, to connect with different emotions, changing the why is this happening to me to what has this taught me. Our emotions play a significant role in how we feel about our past, present and future, and unless something is happening in the present moment, the rest is our imagination of things that have either happened already or endless possibilities of what could happen. Why it can be helpful when we think about the future we want in recovery, we think of the things that make us feel good. Our minds control our emotions. We control our minds. As confusing and as hurtful as the experience of a narcissistic relationship is, the reality we lived in any given moment was real. At least to us at that moment, it was real. What is the lie or the illusion is the narcissist and what they do to us. Hideous gaslighting mind games to distort our memories, our realities, to sell us something that wasn't even real. Yet because it feels real, because in that moment when they are treating us so well, we live that reality. Then when they treat us so wrong, we live that nightmare. Yet due to the narcissist's manipulative gaslighting and blame shifting words, with the added fact that they will use our strengths and our weaknesses to provoke us until we react, and even the best of people can only be pushed so far. Then they will downplay or outright deny their behaviour and exaggerate all ours, leaving us questioning and blaming ourselves, especially with their intermittent play nice stages, to confuse us all the more. It's hard to see the extent of the dire situation we are indeed in with a narcissist, and before we know it, we are in deep and have to climb our way back out. An illusion has several meanings, and the narcissist delivers us each one of these. Illusion, a false belief or idea. They will sell us a dream in the idealisation stage of the relationship with their two faces, the admiration face when they treat us so well for positive attention, and the envious face when they treat us so wrong for negative attention. We are led by them to believe that their admiration face is who they are, and their envious face is who we made them to be. That the false reality is them, which it truly is them, both sides. That's who they were in that moment, which makes it all the harder to see. And no matter how nice they can be, they are extremely hurtful, and some are extremely dangerous. Because they can treat us better than anyone ever has, we can easily overlook when they treat us worse than anyone ever has. And our minds can look for the good in them, often with the narcissist's help of their gaslighting of our minds. The narcissist's wrong side is not worth living through for those odd moments of their nice side. No one deserves to be abused, and no one deserves to be treated so wrong. You did not cause it. You cannot change it. It is who they are. How a person treats you will always say more about them than it ever will about you. Illusion, an instance of a wrong or misinterpreted experience. We live the reality of the beginning when they treat us so well, and most deliver their promises in that idealization stage. So when their admiration face fades, the one that seeks the attention and acts so nice towards us, and we get their hurtful face, the envious one that seeks to destroy us, due to their gaslighting and blame shifting, manipulation, we misinterpreted it as something we had done wrong when we did nothing. It is who they are. Both those faces is who they are. Illusion, a deceptive appearance of togetherness, with all their false promises that they make. Often to start, they might have wanted to spend so much time with you and promise of the fake future, all those fake plans together, just for them to walk away from each and every promise, each and every time. So just how do they do what they do to us? If the narcissist in your life was a parent, boss, friend, neighbour, family member or a partner, the person you met or the nice side to that person that you think you know is not who they indeed are. Yes, it is part of them, but it's an act to hide their true selves. It's all an act to exploit others to get their needs met, and they lack in empathy to care for who they hurt along the way. They idolise us to draw us in like a moth to the flame, and once they have us close enough, we get burned. They can idolise us and raise us so high, so we genuinely believe they are loving, kind, compassionate, caring people who will always look out for us and be there for us. This might not always be the case with parents, depending on where the parent was on the spectrum. If you were the golden child or the scapegoat child, either way, children grow to not believe within themselves, to not love themselves, and with many self-doubts about who they are, always questioning if we are enough. As we are raised by them, we don't know any different, and even though we might find their behaviour towards us extremely hurtful or wrong in some way, it can be years before we realise this isn't how we should be treated. As for friends, bosses and neighbours, we might know something is not right. Our instincts might try to say something, but as we cannot see it, as we believe that people make mistakes, people care for each other, people don't want to hurt others, and they seemed like genuine people when we first met them, it's hard to see through the illusion of who they indeed are. A partner will go all out in the idealization stage to raise us so high, so we get tripped into falling head over heels in love with them. If somebody tells us they hate us and treats us like they hate us from the very beginning, it's easy to know where we stand with them. If someone tells us that they love us and treats us well from time to time, to then treat us so wrong and yet still tell us they love us, it's a very difficult place to be, and it's very hard to see exactly what they are doing. Out of nowhere, after the idealization stage, they hit us with the devaluation stage, verbal abuse, those put downs, telling us the overt way, you cannot do that, or the covert, I wouldn't do that if I was you. The silent treatments that cause us so much psychological pain. We question what on earth that we did wrong, and most often chase them to avoid the drama and anxiety and pain, to restore peace. Then they will project and blame shift and gaslight us with things like, you're insecure, you're just too sensitive, if you hadn't I wouldn't, that didn't happen, if only you'd. The overt, you look fat, too thin in that. The covert, I wouldn't wear that if I was you. The lie after lie after lie, done in cruel ways. We don't even see these lies. Instead, we hear them as truths and question ourselves. The cheating, the false promises, never delivered, which again is turned onto us. They exaggerate everything they do well or do good, exaggerating things and even making things up, so we question ourselves. They will say something so that we question ourselves. I did that for you last week. How can you not remember? You're losing your mind. And the classic, you're going crazy, or you need help. How many of us end up in therapy due to all the manipulative mind games a narcissist throws at us to take us down? Then, of course, they shall provoke an argument, especially when there's a special occasion happening, or they'll not be the centre of attention. Or when they are trying to escape any part of their wrongdoings, they will push, they will prod, and they will poke at all our insecurities, vulnerabilities, and weaknesses. All the things that matter the most to us, as these are the things that we shall most passionately defend. These are the things that they know we will react to if pushed enough. Then they can either downplay or forget what they did and make a huge deal about what we did, so that we take all the blame, we feel all the guilt, we feel at fault, we forget anything that they've done and just look to ourselves. They will guilt trip, pity play and triangulate to break down our boundaries one by one. All this leaves us in a state of confusion, questioning our self-worth, our beliefs, our thoughts, our feelings, our opinions, our realities, our abilities, our trust, and so many more. Yet it rarely leaves us questioning their behaviour. We always end up questioning ourselves, often leaving us with anxiety, trauma bonding, depression, CPTSD and other health issues, which then when they top it off by smearing our name to those around us, and we are left so disorientated, them telling us that we are going crazy, we actually genuinely feel like we are going crazy. Not understanding it's those very people telling us these things that is sending us that way. And even when we get a break to escape them and the fog lifts, those that seem to be never-ending smear campaigns and mind games with the help of the narcissists, flying monkeys and enablers who just do not see it, like we once did not see it. Often we are left isolated from support, feeling like no one will ever understand. Even the authorities seem to think that we appear like we're unhinged when we try to report them, and it's soul destroying and devastating. With their devaluation stage, when we aren't doing exactly what they want, exactly when they want, their envious face comes out. They become jealous that we have a mind of our own. Nobody throws a bigger tantrum like a narcissist losing control of someone else's mind, and they seek to take us down. Yet we live the reality of the idealisation stages. Even though it's all an act, an illusion to suck us in, to exploit us, our minds become confused. And as they manipulate with all the above tactics, we tread so carefully around them. We walk on eggshells and we do all we can to help them, to please them, while they slowly destroy us. Yet we just do not see it. Especially as bam, all of a sudden the nice admiration-seeking face is back, the intermittent play nice, idolising us again and making us feel great again. This reinforces within our minds that it must be us. It was never ever you. They confuse us by treating us better than anyone ever has to then treat us worse than anyone ever has. We fall in love with the lies of a person they sold to us. Then we have to deal with and overcome all the lies that they delivered us. As we move through recovery, the realisation of what's genuinely happened can hit one by one. And make no mistake, they can hit hard. What we've been through, what that they've done, what we put up with, just how insidious they indeed are. As the trance, the spell, the fog, however you want to put it, lifts, and we begin to start moving away from living under their illusion of their reality and working through our own guilt of being an enabler at times, as we genuinely believe them and didn't know or understand what our very own instincts were shouting out at us. Make no mistake, this is not your fault whatsoever. No one asked for this. No one deserves this. We just get sucked into their games, and we do our absolute best to try and help and support them. believing they are a genuine person, not seeing, knowing, or understanding the truth of the actual reality due to their many manipulative tactics of our minds. And our minds are incredible things. As we see one reality, the illusion of the narcissist that plays nice, their admiration face, and they do it so charming and so convincing, as that's who they are in that moment in time. Yet it's an illusion, a cover-up, an act. They don't honestly know who they are. They change from one person to the other, from black to white. And with some, this can take days, months, weeks, or even years, depending on what their needs are. When they do all they can to portray themselves as a good, kind, loving person, when all they are genuinely doing is matching our likes and our dislikes, learning all our weaknesses, which everyone has weaknesses, learning our insecurities, learning our strengths, our goals, our dreams, so they can match them. False promises to help support us, to further down the line, rip them wide open one by one, take us down and try to destroy us, to devalue who we are little by little, as they believe they feel criticism in some way, or they no longer feel in control, or they feel jealous of us, so they feel a need to take us down. Some act on impulse, others are extremely calculated, especially the malignant narcissist. As the narcissistic personality disorder is on a spectrum, some of them are severe, but no matter which kind or what extent you've been through, we are individuals with different tolerance levels and different pain thresholds. So it was as severe as it was to us personally. There are those who, once we understand what they are and what they do, we can learn to limit our time with them, respond and never react to them, observe and not absorb. Others, however, it has to be no contact. No contact is the only way. It's not easy, however, it is a must. And here's another illusion that holds us back: the discard stage and the hoover. The way they discard us keeps us locked on that painful past, which does not serve our happy future. And most of us take them back due to the trauma bond, no closure given. They often move straight on, and at some point they do come back for the hoover. Most of us don't see what's happening to start. With everything we've been through, it's almost normal. All those highs and lows of the relationship, that trauma bond, we learned that relationships have bad patches and we work through them, which is true. Relationships have bad patches. However, they shouldn't have lies, cheating, dishonesty, constant pain and heartbreak. Relationships are about two people coming together and being themselves, complementing each other, give and take, 50-50. Yes, sometimes it might be 80-20, other times it might be 20-80. Relationships are not one taking the other down, not one using and exploiting the other, so that the other person no longer even knows who they are. But at some point we do get it. We make a conscious effort to say enough is enough. We make the decision to say no more. It's time to move on from this. Stop dwelling on this. Yes, we all need to learn about NPD. We all need to gain the clarity and understanding of what we have been through, so we can learn from it and grow from it. And this takes different people, different time scales, depending on how long you were in the relationship and how much you've personally been through. We need to process the pain, the grief, then we need to let it go and move on. For most, there comes a point when we can still read and learn about it, and it has no impact on the present or the future. And the triggers slowly fade as we've created a new life. For others, there comes a point when they completely walk away from learning about it, which is great, so long as they understand enough not to fall back into it again. However we recover is individual to ourselves. What we focus on is what we become. And no, I don't mean you focused on the abuse, so you got abused. Nobody deserves to be treated that way. When our minds are focused on the past, we stay stuck in that past. When we focus on fear, we stay stuck in fear. When we focus on the what ifs, on the what will they do next, we are leaving things within our minds that don't need to be there, that aren't happening in that moment. When the smear campaigns hit, if we pay attention to them, to this smear campaign, to the hideous games they're playing instead of ourselves and our truths, we focus more and more on why are they doing this? Why is this happening to me? They keep us locked in that victim mindset. The more we learn about what they do, the more answers we can give ourselves, the more answers we have to those whys. And at some point we must focus on ourselves, our new dreams, our new future, on what we want to go right for us. The past is done. It's happened and it needs leaving in the past. The present is a moment to find and create new things to be grateful for, to imagine a future of our dreams, as the future is not yet written and we have every opportunity and every possibility to write it as we now want to live it. If anyone has any help, support, advice, please add it into the comments for others. You never know who it can help. I shall add in the description where you can find me on social media, the online courses that I have available, and the link for BetterHelp online counselling services. I shall also add the video on that explains more about their admiration face and their envious face, that explains more about the two sides of the narcissistic personality disorder, and I'll add the video on trauma bonding. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.